Yeah. Second quarter now, Durant's still not in. Blake Griffin says, I'll help out. He can still throw it down. He had 10 off the bench. I mean, the Nets, they're just loaded. They can come at you with so many different players. Finally, 7:37 of the second quarter. Here comes Durant. Mom is there to check it out. Limited number of fans in Brooklyn, just under a minute after checking in. Durant. Just give him a screen, he'll do the rest. Looked like he hadn't missed a beat. Mom, what do you think?
Likes it.
That's my boy. 2 minutes later, Nets up 11. Durant gets a loose ball, and he's going to keep it and finish. He had 9 points, just over 7 minutes at the half. By the way, they held Zion Williamson to 16 points on 4 for 12 shooting. Let's check out some more Durant. 2 for 2 from three-point range. Smooth-looking jumper there. Next possession for Brooklyn. Durant lobs it for LaMarcus Aldridge. The Nets had 37 assists in this game. Aldridge had 22 points. Later in the third, Irving showing off the handles. Got Steven Adams to bite and then knock down the jumper. Here's another look at it. Adams just, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? 24.6 assists for Irving. Under 8 to go in the third. Nets in transition. Keep an eye on Durant. Got an arm up calling for it. Irving gets it to him. Three-pointer for Durant. 17 points. 5 for 5 shooting. He also had 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Did it all in 19 minutes. And the Nets put a buck 39 on the Pelicans. It was Durant afterwards.
Coach wanted to, I was at a cap in minutes, and he wanted to see if it's a close game, he wanted to be able to throw me in there in the fourth. So, for me, mentally, it was different. It's been a long time since I haven't started, you know what I'm saying? So, but it worked out.
It was nice to have him back, and it's been a long absence that no one, predicted us, even when it first happened. So we're just thrilled that he felt good, he played well, and he's back. And, see that smile on his face was important for me as well.
I expected to come out here and play the way I played. I wasn't trying to ease into the game. I just wanted to go out there and dive right into the action. The game was already fast-paced already, so from watching it from the bench, I knew exactly how I needed to approach it. So, but it was pretty cool coming off the bench, I can't lie. But it was also good to play in front of the fans as well.
He looked rested, not rusty. Again, a perfect 5 for 5 from the field and 5 for 5 from the free throw line Wednesday. Good for a career best 118 true shooting percentage, which includes free throws and accounts for twos being worth more than threes. Impressive when considering that 4 of those were contested buckets. Durant also went 3 for 3 on his patented jumper. Let's bring in Tim Legler. Now, Tim, it's hard to find criticism with perfection in terms of Durant shooting the ball, but what'd you see from him?
I tell you what, Stan, there's not really many guys in the league, if any, that could come back after that long of a layoff and look that comfortable. There was just no rust whatsoever, and it just shows you how easy it comes for Kevin Durant. He's just a natural scorer, and he has an ability to be so confident in his offensive skills that he just knows that he doesn't have to force the issue because his release point is the ultimate answer for any defender that's in front of him. And so I just thought he did a nice job of coming out, getting a couple of touches, and then getting into his rhythm. It's incredible, really, to think that a guy can go back and play that well in short minutes after that long layoff. And I'll give the Nets credit because I think it was a good strategy the way they utilized Kevin Durant. When you have a guy coming back from a muscle injury or hamstring injury, the one thing you don't want once he starts to play is a lot of downtime to cool off. So how do you manage that? Well, the best way to do that, if you're going to play a guy 18 minutes, play him at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. That way, you've only got that little bit of downtime that covers halftime. And I thought they did a brilliant job of managing that. So he really stayed warm the entire time. And they don't have to worry about him cooling off and entering the game again with a hamstring type injury. So I thought it was pretty smart. Very few teams would have handled it that way. And Kevin Durant showed you that he was willing to do whatever it took in his first game back to just make an imprint in any way he could on the game.
139 without Harden. If they're fully healthy, man, they're going to be hard to deal with. We appreciate it, Tim.
You got it, Stan.
Much more for Brooklyn coming up. What Kevin Durant's return can mean for the Nets moving forward. That's later on SportsCenter.
No question. This game on ESPN, the most exciting NBA game of the night. Two best teams in the NBA, two best records. They're both in the West. Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, superstars. Chris Paul, some of his secret stuff on the sideline during the game. And it showed. Can we pick it up in the fourth? Yes, we can. Tie game. Paul. Suns lead by 2. Under 2 minutes to go. Jazz trail by 4. Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell had 41 points in this game. Take another look at the tough look here by Mitchell, and it falls. Jazz pull within 1 after the free throw. 1:30 to go. Suns lead by 1. It's Chris Paul. Paul with 11 points in the fourth quarter. Suns lead by 3, and Paul is pumped up. What an impact. That's an understatement he has made with his team. Under 20 seconds to go, Suns up 3. Booker rimming out. Jazz the other way. Donovan Mitchell. I got my money on him. Tie game. 7th career 40-point game. 4th most in Jazz history for Donovan Mitchell. Last chance for the Suns here. Devin Booker in isolation. Booker, you want it in his hands, but he can't make everything. Misses a 3 at the buzzer, so we head to overtime. Keep this in mind. You know, the Jazz haven't won an overtime game since January of 2018. Yikes. Off the opening tip-off of OT, it's Devin Booker. Booker. 35 points for him. Suns take the lead to start OT. Just over 3 minutes to go. Suns lead, still 3. Booker. Pulling up, taking over. Suns lead by 5. 2 minutes to go. 5-point lead. Mitchell says, wait a minute, I'm Donovan Mitchell. 1 point shy of tying his season high with those 41 points by Mitchell. Just over a minute to go. Suns lead by 3. Booker gets trapped. Kicks it out of Chris Paul. Top of the key. Wow. Paul, the dagger 3. The Suns win, and the Jazz extend their overtime losing streak to 7 games, longest active streak in the NBA. Here's Devin Booker on the win.
You know, you can't really emulate, a game like that in a practice or, a regular game, 2 teams that want it that bad. So, the pace was higher, the physicality was higher, and I think it was a good learning lesson for us. So it was a hard-fought game.
I think that was really the biggest difference. Just being aggressive, just getting out and transition and doing our thing. At the end of the day, that was playoff basketball. It's not always going to be 60-point halves, 70-point halves. They're going to be halves like this. We just got to continue to fight through, and we did in the third quarter, in the fourth, even overtime. And like I said, we're a few rebounds away. So I think it's went out.
It came down to clutch time on Wednesday, simple as that, and the Suns' backcourt was just too much for the Jazz's backcourt. Devin Booker and Chris Paul combined to score or assist on 22 of Phoenix's 24 points. Donovan Mitchell, he scored 10 points on 9 shots, but missed a free throw down the stretch and went 1 for 5 from 3-point range. It's never too early to think about the chances of the Phoenix Suns winning a title. Tim Legler back with us. I was just talking to you earlier in the break regarding, boy, what a difference a year makes for the Phoenix Suns. I know they have Chris Paul now, but what are some other reasons why they are so good this season and why no team wants to face them?
Yeah, Linda, this whole thing started really in the bubble a year ago when they won all those games in a row and they started to feel good about themselves. Devin Booker became a star at that time, but they were still missing a key piece, and that piece was Chris Paul. They needed a guy to come in and give them veteran leadership and poise, a guy that can run the show, and also a guy capable of getting you big buckets in pressure situations, and their backcourt took over the game in overtime. That's what it came down to. Devin Booker was sensational. He started overtime by getting a layup right off the jump ball, and then he got to his spots when he needed to get to them. Another big scoring night for him, but to me, it was when he did it in this one that was the most impressive. And then Chris Paul's mid-range game from the middle of the fourth quarter on all the way through overtime, his ability to get to his spot off pick and roll and hit those lean back jump shots that he's known for. I think their backcourt was the difference between the two teams in this game. Phoenix, there's a lot of reasons for their success. We talk about Paul and Booker. Other guys, Mikal Bridges taking a big step forward. DeAndre Ayton's a better player. Cameron Johnson is a better player. They added Jay Crowder, another veteran guy who played in the finals a year ago. So you can't say enough about veteran leadership. And for Utah, they've got to be careful because as good as they have been and as good as they can be and as great as Donovan Mitchell is, they can't get too one-dimensional, and sometimes they do, and I felt they got that way down the stretch of this game. They're at their best when multiple guys are running ball screen because they've got 4 guys that can do it. And when they move the basketball and shoot the basketball at an elite level, that is what's gotten them to the best record in the Western Conference. And sometimes they rely too much on Donovan Mitchell in certain tight spots to go be spectacular.